I'm Barb Owen, and it's Friday. It's actually drama-free Friday. We're not having any drama today. We had all the drama last week, which is why you didn't see Friday recording from me last week, and why I was not here, because my internet service provider dropped the ball, and yeah, they just dropped the ball. I'm supposed to have an upload speed, which is what is required in order to stream and to do my classes and all that kind of stuff. I am supposed to be paying for an upload speed of about 15. There seems to be some discrepancy because some people have told me I don't have that much, but anyway, it's supposed to be about 15, right? And last week when I could not stay on, I was getting an upload speed of not 1, but 0.1. 0.1. Yeah. And so it was, you know, everybody wants to talk to me when it comes to the computer stuff. They want to talk to me about download speed and the great download speed we can give you. It's like, I don't care about that. What I care about is upload speed. I need to go up the hill, not down the hill, okay? So it was crazy. Anyway, I had to talk to many people. I've talked to people all over the world, and I'm sure any of you who have ever had this experience have done that as well, where you talk to people all over the world, in the Philippines, in India, in I don't know where. I even talked to some people in my very own country. And then in the end, I found out the secret, and that was to take my body straight over to the business where I pay for the internet service and to actually talk to them in person. And I didn't know that that was even legal. I didn't know that was legal. And so anyway, I assumed it was squirrel damage because we have lots of squirrels in the area where I live. I assumed that's what our problem was, because that had been the problem before, but I guess it was not, and so they fixed the problem in one of the 3 nodes, whatever a node is, but one of the 3 nodes that feed our area, although they don't know which node really is the one that feeds my house. Yeah, but anyway, they got it fixed, I think, because we're good. So that's why I wasn't here last week. So that was enough drama to last a long time. So it is drama-free Friday, and the reason I say that is because there's just not too much we can do about whatever's going on in the world. And I say this every time I broadcast, but it's just the truth. There just isn't anything I can do about what's going on right now, and I know there are really difficult things for many, many people, some very personal, some worldwide, some, you know, community-wide, and so forth. And you know, every once in a while you just need to take time out. You need to just have some fun. You just need to do some creativity, even in the midst of the most difficult stress. It helps if you just take time out and just breathe and spend a couple hours just creating. And so that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do. We're just going to take time and just let the rest of it just go where it may. It's going to stay outside of our chat, and outside of the studio, and outside of my area where I am, and it's drama-free. Okay, there you go. So this I've had for several weeks, and I just have not had a chance to show it to you because for one time I forgot, and another time I wasn't on the air, and yada yada yada. Exactly. For the next couple hours we can't change it. So I got this in the mail from APG Jamie, and I don't know if she's here. Don't see her in the chat. But she does this fun thing where she sends cards to people. Sorry, my camera's a little crooked here. She sends cards to people on what she calls the card lottery, and so she doesn't send cards to everybody all at once. She sends cards to people as she draws their names or whatever. And so she says, "Congratulations, you won the card lottery. The enclosed card was made using a photograph of my August journal page. Man, it's hot and dry here at my house. Sigh. That's probably why the girl is so unique. I love this quote by Henry Matisse, and if you want to see it, and if you want to see how I did the page, please watch the video on my YouTube channel titled A Hot Day in August. It's on 8/28/15, and that's Artist Poet Girl. Again, congratulations for winning the card lottery. P.S. Stay cool and brave. So you will notice that there's probably a roar in the back of my broadcast, and that's because the air conditioner's on. Yes, because we still are having to use the air conditioner. So you'll just have to put up that. Creativity Takes Courage by Henry Matisse. So this is her journal page, and then inside it says You Are Brave. And Hugs and Kisses, APG Jamie. So, and this is her Purple Door Studio 2015. It's very nice. Hi, AJ. Hi, Sherry. And hello to anybody that I missed. So please consider yourself welcomed, okay? And then she also put in some book text, and now I don't know if you can hear, but Charlie is standing at the door mournfully yowling because he wants out. So we're going to have to put up with not only the roar of the air conditioner, but also from the yowling sponsor who is behind door number 1. You can't hear the AC? Okay. But aren't those cool? And there's another shot. So interesting. And then she sent a dictionary page and a page from another book called The Blue Church, and it looks to me like it might be in German, although I'm not sure. But anyway, that was fun. So she sent some pages to use in journal, art journal, whatever. It's a great card. So APG Jamie, if you are watching the recording, thank you so much. Her videos on YouTube are a scream. If you guys have not watched her YouTubes, you need to watch them. Artist Poet Girl, I think is what she goes by. Hi, Jean. Welcome to Drama Free Friday, Jean. Nice to have you here. So last week, this was what I was going to do, which I didn't get to do on Friday. Well, they're stuck in the bag. And so Tuesday, I did an impromptu recording, which if you're watching on YouTube, that recording, if it's not up at the moment when you see this one, it will be up shortly. I just have been busy with other stuff this week and haven't gotten it up there. Anyway, so these are cards that I did, and so I just thought I would show them to you when they were completely done. And so these are cards for one of the groups I belong to that is, they're bumping up their scholarship fund, and so they have a big sale in November, and so they asked that all of the subgroups would make cards, I guess, anyway, and so that's what we're doing. So I was trying to come up with something. It's a little bit on the artsy-fartsy side, if you know what I mean, and so I thought, well, what am I going to do to kind of not get kicked out of the group? So what I did is I used my rubber stamps. These are my Fun Faces rubber stamps. So these are my faces, not my faces, but faces I created. And one of the things I thought that would be fun to do is to use them, you know, in a way that I don't normally use them, and do something that was just kind of crazy and silly and all of that. I'm getting a link for you here in case anybody wants to check them out. And so that's where you can find them if you're looking for them. So this face right here is this one. Her name is Harriet. And hey, Bran, Do you remember these, Bren? Do you remember these? Bren 47 is the one that sent me the little kitties in the box, and so I put them on my starting soon sign. So there was somebody here that wanted to know where you got them. So ask Bren. She's in the chat. So anyway, this face is the one that I made that made this card. And their dresses are made from these little dies. And just in case you want to know what they are, I'll give you the link to those. Just so you have the information. If you're interested, if you're not, that's perfectly fine. But this is the die that I used right here. And I used my papers that I had created. Some of them are jelly prints, some of them are paste papers. And I cut the dresses out. Now the little dress has a hanger on it. And so what I did is I just cut the neckline out. And so that's this one. I think I have another one of this face. Let me see. Yes, this one. So this is another one with the same face, okay? So these are exactly the same stamp for these. And I just drew different hairstyles, obviously. I put a bird on most of them. And this one has a flower in her hair. This one has a flower in her hand and a bird in her hand. And that each one of them says, "Thank you for being you." And so she has a happening hairstyle on her. This is a jelly print little dress. So I didn't put anything inside, you know, because I figured they could be used for whatever anybody wanted them to be for. Okay, so then there's this one. And this face is this one. This is Hannah, is her name. And so she has a bird in her hand and another flower in her hand. And again, nothing else. So there's that one. And this is the same one, same face. And she has two birds, one in her hand and one in her other hand. Or maybe it's in her hair. I don't know. Hi, Joyce. Nice to have you join us. So that is the face that is the same one I used for both of these. Okay. Okay, so the kitty in the box, there's the link for you guys. It's, yeah. So there's the link. Bren got it. Bren gave it to you. And some of these are sparkly. I don't think you can see it. Like this has Wink of Stella on it. So there's some sparkles. I put some little jewelry on them and so forth. But each one of them has the very same thing on it. Thanks, Orla. And then this one is this face, which is, this is Hillary, is her name. And on this one, you can see that her eyes are closed. And on the stamp, her eyes are open. And so I showed on the recording on Tuesday, or the recording that, I don't know, I haven't titled it yet. I don't think. But anyway, from the recording that precedes this one, date-wise, I showed how I did this. Okay? That's your favorite? Hi, Lori. And so this one is the same. This is the same face, and I did closed eyes on both of these, and so that's the same expression, the same stamp. So again, just to stick this back in the chat, not that I'm trying to force them on you, but all I want you to do is to be, and those of you watching the recording, the links will be in the description below. Either on my website, where you find the description is on my website, where you'll see it rebroadcast there, or you'll see it on YouTube. Those are the two places where you'll see all the links. If you're watching on Ustream, the links and all of that are not there. You'll have to watch one of the other places to see the links. So anyway, that's these two girls, and this one has hearts and hanging from her hands. This one has two birds on her one hand, one her shoulder. So those are those. But all of the papers that I've used, everything on the papers are papers that I created, either jelly plate prints or paste paper prints that I did. So there's no commercial paper used on the creation of the girls. There is in the background, and the cards were pre-purchased cards, and they're edged in Inca Gold. So thank you. And then this is the last one, and this is this stamp. And so this is the funny old gal, and her name is Odie Vern. And there really was an Odie Vern once upon a time. Hi, Kathy. So there really was an Odie Vern in real life, and she didn't look like this, but when I wanted to do a character face like this, I thought she's got to be named Odie Vern because she was going to be a goofy kind of a character. And so she has a star in her hand, and she has her jewelry on, and she has purple hair, and so, you know, there you go. And so what I did, just as a little bit of a review, I started out by stamping the face onto the pink paper that I had. This was a jelly print. And, you know, you can see that the jelly print, you can see lines in it. You can see like this. You can see some of the darker colors here and there, like, you know, around her nose and stuff. And that's part of the jelly print. And I left them that way. So I stamped the stamp, and then I drew a head shape around it and cut it out of cardstock. And then I made some hairstyles, you know, so I did some different hairstyles. And I sketched them on paper first. So there's my different hairstyles. And I made the hairstyle for the back of this one, you know, so that when her face went on here, when the face went on and the neck was on, you know, it looked like she still had hair on the back, you know. So, so that's what I did. I created the hairstyles. They're just cut out of cardstock. If you want to do things like this and you're going to do it over and over, you really need to cut them out of plastic, like quilter's plastic, or if you can get your hands on some of the old x-ray film, you can use that. And then I just drew little patterns for the legs. This was an extra set of legs, I guess. I don't know why I have that, to tell you the truth. Anyway. And I drew a couple of arm styles, so I could change the arm, you know, where it was up and one was down, or I could have two the same or whatever. I drew some little couple of bird shapes, and then a flower, just because it made it just easier, you know, than to put it down, draw around it, cut it out, you know. It's a lot of fussy cutting, but it was fun. So that's how I did them, and I just cut out a whole bunch of pieces and put them in this little container. And then when I was ready to make my cards, I cut, the card was 5 by 7, so I just cut it 1/4 of an inch narrower and shorter for the mat, and I built the whole card on the mat and then attached it to the card. So each one of them is edged in Inca Gold, and, you know, I decided to use the same sentiment and so forth. So anyway, that was what we were going to do last week, and if you want to see it, you'll need to look for the recording where I did go through a couple of them in detail. So if you have any questions, be sure and put them in caps, and I will answer questions about that if you have something. So there they are. So we'll see. I don't know if they'll like them, but I like them. So if they don't want them, I'll take them back. I'll take them back. All right. So I thought what we would do this week would be something that would be kind of a fun thing to do. I hope you'll think it's fun. There's a book club that I belong to, and it meets at the store that's closest to me, which is called Soul Sentiments. And I don't know if Dana's here. Dana's been there because she came and took a class I taught there. And this is the store, Soul Sentiments. So if you're ever in the area here, I recommend that you go and check them out. They are scrapbooking and mixed media. She has a lot of mixed media things that you can't find other places. And let me show this to you close up, so you can kind of get the information if anybody's interested in checking them out. So there is all the information and how you can get in touch with them and so forth and so on. So anyway, that's where I was, and that's where the book club is that I go to. So this is the book that we've been playing with, which I have truly not done very much in this book because I've been really busy with the HowToGetCreative.com membership area with video classes and all of that, which you're certainly invited to. Love to have you check that out at HowToGetCreative.com. And so what I thought was really neat in here, this seems to be kind of a collaboration of lots of different artists, and it has various things, I think, from a lot of other published books, but it's kind of a nice way to get to kind of preview some of these books and get acquainted with some of these different artists. And I have not read it in detail, so I may be, but like here are some of the books, the contributors. So like Dina Wakely has an article in here, and Kelly Ray Roberts has an article, and Mary Beth Shaw, and so forth and so on. So anyway, let's go to what I was going to do today. This I thought was really fun, and I was not, hi Erica, I was not familiar with Susanna Gordon and her winged messenger idea. This is very similar to, okay, is it Michael Deming and the Art Abandonment Movement? Bren's here, she'll know. She'll be able to correct me if that's not right. His last name is Deming. I think is it Michael? Anyway, there is a whole movement and there's a Facebook group called Art Abandonment, and this is very similar to that, but it's a little different. So anyway, I won't read all the stuff to you about it. I'm just going to kind of take the concept that she has and kind of make it my own, or change it up a little bit or whatever. So what she's doing is she's taking these little pieces of paper that look like an envelope, and she's writing whatever she wants to on it and adding a couple of wings to it. And hers are, I think, are pretty big, as I recall, and she's doing this whole process of making them, and then she takes them and leaves them different places. And hers measure approximately 15 inches by 8 inches, which, that's right, Bren. Okay, Michael Deming. Okay, thank you. And I thought it was a really neat concept. And so it's like that art abandonment movement where you can take the piece of whatever it is and you just leave it for someone to find. And it's just a way to kind of brighten up somebody's day. And so I thought, yeah, that'd be kind of fun to play around with. Well, I happen to have a die to cut an envelope. Oh, and this is, I'll show you the book again. And I have a link for it if you want to check it out. Check out the book to see, just to get more information about it if you're interested. So there's the book that I'm talking about. That's this book right here. I have a die that will cut envelopes and make envelopes. And I think actually the first place I saw this, I think I saw Bren use it, who's in the chat. I think this is the first place that I ever saw this little bitty die, and it's called the envelope with ornate flap or something like that. Forgot exactly what the name is. Sizzix die. And that's the die, and it's just the cutest little bitty envelope. So I thought, you know, rather than make a piece of paper and make it look sort of like an envelope, I thought I have this little bitty die, so why not use it? And so I decided to do that. So these are papers that I did. So this is a paste paper, and some of them are jelly plate prints. But I thought, why not do that, you know, with my own stuff? And so that's what I decided to do. So I thought the first thing we would do is cut our little envelopes. So I have pre-cut the little squares of fabric or paper. I usually use fabric with these, honestly. I use them for my soul support dolls because I put one of the envelopes on the back of every one of the soul support dolls. So I thought the first thing we would do is cut the envelopes. And so I'm using Big Kick because that's what I have. And so here's all my papers. I don't know if I can do two at once. Let's try two at once and see what happens. These are cardstock. They are a little thicker because they have the layers of paint and stuff on them. I know, it's the most adorable little envelope, and for something that is so tiny, I have used it so much. I mean, I have used it so very much. So there's a couple more envelopes, and it comes also with this little bitty ornamentation that you have to remember to get out, but it comes with these tiny little ornaments that you can put on the flap. Okay, come on, envelope, or come on, camera. Don't be a jerk. Camera's being a jerk. Take my word for it, they're cute. Okay? So that's what I'm going to do, is I'm just going to spend time cutting for a minute. So I got two. I'm gonna be dangerous and see if I can get three. So I don't know. This is a Big's die, Sizzix Big's die. Hi, Lynn. Should be able to cut 4. Whew, I don't know if I got enough courage to cut 4, Jean. That's a lot of courage. That's a lot of courage you're asking me to have, Jean. Okay, so and I'm saving all these. I'm putting them over in a pile. I'm saving these because there's plenty of space left to get other things out. Okay, so here are these. Jean knows everything. I know. That one's gonna have to probably be repaired a little bit. That cut a little too much. Or I could use that side and that one. So I planned a couple extra because this one cut, you know, cut a little too, it was a little too vigorous in the folding area. So I'm going to go back to 2 just to see if that made any difference. I don't know if it was too much pressure because it's cutting not only the die, it's also doing the creases, you know, where it's going to be folded. So here's 2 more, and the little ornament bit. And sometimes they really like to stick together, so you have to separate them. of course, you know, if you have the electronic cutters or whatever, you can set up your mat and set up your envelope and then just walk away, I guess. I don't have an electronic cutter. Set it up and let it cut. I don't know that I would ever trust anything to walk away from it. I have an embroidery machine and I wouldn't even walk away from that puppy, let me tell you. So there's a couple more. Once we fold them up, they'll make more sense. And if you have a Cuttlebug, you know, you'll have to use the correct sandwich. And because I don't have a Cuttlebug, I'm not entirely sure what that sandwich is, but the same die will work in both. But easy peasy. And there are those two. And the last two. And then we'll see. Then we'll play with the wings. Now, if I had a wing die, which I don't, that would make, it would be so easy to do this because you could just roll the wings through with a die and cut them out. So if you got a wing die and you want to do this, or if you get into doing this kind of thing, it might be worth the investment in a wing die. Hi, Dottie. Okay, come apart. Thank you. If you have fingernails, this works much better, but as I've said many times, I keep my fingernails cut really short. Leftover days, leftover from all of my piano playing days. I was a music major in college. Piano major, actually. Okay, so that takes care of that. So now we have all of our little envelopes cut. And then I'm going to fold them up. So they're scored, and so you can fold them. And you know, if they show too much here, then you can take something like a marker, like a big brush pen, and you can just put a little marker where it cracks the paper, and if it cracks too much, you might have to add a little bit of washi tape or something like that, you know, to give it a little support if it needs it. And if you don't like the white edging, then do the same thing, or you could use distress ink or whatever else. So we'll just do one or two of these just to kind of give the idea. And they're going to be messy inside because that's just how they're going to be. Alright, now I'm going to use, this is a Teflon bone folder for the creases that really need some help. I'm going to reinforce them using a Teflon bone folder. And on these handmade papers, sometimes that shines with a regular bone folder. I find that using the Teflon bone folder, that is one of the great benefits of using a Teflon bone folder. That's the one that I'm using. I really like it a lot. And then to keep the envelope shut, I found that I needed to use a little bit of glue. Just a teeny tiny little dab of glue. A little dab will do ya. You guys remember that commercial? And I mean, it just doesn't take very much. So you got to get it really close to the edge, and then you got to hang on to it for a minute so that until the glue sets up. Do you, AJ? I really like it. I like it a lot. And then that will hold that in place. And then you can, you know, you can get creative here and you can use a different little ornamentation on the envelope, or you can use the same ornamentation, the same color, you know, depending on how much you want it to show. And you can turn it one way or you can turn it the other way. So we'll turn it upside, or I don't know if it's upside down. We'll just turn it the way that it seems like it wants to go. So a little bit of glue. And I'm going to put that right there. Now, remember, I'm going to give these away, so I'm not going to spend a ton of time on them, okay? The envelope size that I'm using is, if I can find my ruler, folded up, I'm assuming that's what you mean, is 2 5/8 by 1 7/8. 2 5/8 by 1 7/8 when it's folded. Okay. That's all right. Leave the cap locks on when you're going to ask me questions. That would be great. Brill cream. Yep, that was it. You get the prize, Rain. You get the prize. Okay, so there's a couple of envelopes. So we're going to make envelopes for a few minutes, because I think they're too cute not to. But it's nice that the die cuts and scores the envelope. And I'm not going to edge all of these, you know, with the marker. If I really wanted to, I could, but you know, I'm not going to. We're going to give these away. We hope to brighten somebody's day, and I don't think they're going to care. Truly, I don't think they're going to care whether I edge the envelopes with a marker or not. Hi, Sandra. Okay, so it's stuck. So we'll glue the little ornament on. And one of the things that made me think about doing this was that my husband, I mean, I've done a little bit of the art abandonment thing too. My husband was, many of you know that I meet him every afternoon we used to always meet for coffee, which now we meet for tea because we both stopped drinking coffee. And he stopped drinking coffee in support of me. I stopped drinking coffee because I was trying to get my body to get back together again after it. Anyway, long story. A long, boring story we don't need to go into. And so anyway, now we get together and we drink tea, a cup of tea every afternoon. And we do it away from our home, most 99.9% of the time, so that we can't get distracted by animals and whatever else. And we've done this for years and years and years. And the reason is so that we download the day, we discuss whatever's going on, and leave it wherever it is we're having tea, or, you know, used to be coffee. And we've done it for a long time, and it's a really good experience for us, and always has been. So anyway, one day he came out of the parking lot, or out of the business where we were, went to the parking lot to his truck, and he saw a young, like a teenage girl, walking around the parking lot, putting something on the people's vehicles. And so he's like, ah, great, somebody's selling something, right? I could, Rain, it's true, I could. And I may do it on some of them. And So he was going to his truck, and here's one of these things that was on his truck that this young girl was putting on the under the windshield wipers on vehicles. And so she wasn't doing it on everyone. She was just picking vehicles. And so he pulled it off and looked at it. And the only thing that it said on it was something like, you are fearfully and wonderfully made, or you are a wonder, or something like that. That's all it said. Didn't have anything else on it. And that he enjoyed that so much that, you know, he still is carrying it around in his truck. So when I saw this concept, I thought, well, this would be fun, you know, to make people, hopefully make people feel good. And it would be different because it has wings on it. So, all right, so we're going to fold up some more. I think it's fun too to see how the handmade papers look. And this doesn't use up a ton of jelly prints and paste papers and stuff, but it does give you a way to use them, which is kind of fun. And they're cute and they're pretty. And it's fun to see how they turn out, you know? Yeah, know what I mean? And I could make 2 or 3 of these and call it good, but I don't seem to be able to do that. You know, I only seem to be able to do things in multiples. So, you know, that's just kind of, as my son used to say, that's the how of it. So I'm going to have to do a bunch of them because I like doing stuff in multiples. Get my little ornaments over here. These are the hardest little thing to pick up for some reason. Yeah, we have done that we've done that date every day. We haven't missed very many. Once in a while, you know, we'll have something that causes us not to get together, but not very often. And it's just really, ritual is a powerful thing in a person's life. We all have rituals to some extent, and rituals tend to keep you connected to whatever, whether it's to another person, to whatever your faith is, to whatever, you know, routine in your life is, or whatever. And that is one of our rituals. And I don't have a lot of rituals, but that is one that we've maintained for a long time. And we did it during the time that I was taking care of my parents. It was especially important during that because I needed, you know, it was like my touchstone to reality during that time, because that was just such an insane period in my life, which I don't regret at all. There's not one bit of it that I regret. But boy, it was a difficult time in my life. It was difficult for everybody. It was difficult for my parents, for certain. And you have to do things to take care of yourself. And that was one of the ways that I did that. Self-care was us getting together like that. And we've had to change our location from time to time because where we live is not a real small community, but it's small enough that there are times when, you know, people figure out where we are every afternoon, and then sometimes they want to come join us and have tea with us. And it's like, that's not the point, people. That is just so not the point. All right, so there's our little envelope so far. So Since I haven't lost my audience, I'm going to keep folding envelopes and making little envelopes. And then we'll go to the, I'm going to do 8 of them because I have 8 sets of wings cut out, I think. Yeah, I have 8 sets of wings cut out. So we'll do 8. And then I'll finish the rest of them later. So yeah, so there's sometimes when we have to choose a new spot to go and have tea because, you know, we have to sort of beat the crowd sometimes. It's hard to explain to people that is just, you know, it serves a specific purpose, and it's not to chat with them. Xandra, they are for giving away. They're kind of like the art abandonment movement. It's from this book, which is Adventures in Mixed Media. And it's from Susanna. Okay, where is it? Here it is. Susanna Gordon. And she calls them winged messengers. And so I'm doing my spin on what she does with the winged messengers. You have heart wings die and do some of these. Cool, Bren. I miss you streaming, Bren. Just for the record. Just for the record, Bren, I miss you streaming. I hope you stream again sometime soon, because I miss you. And this little ornament can go either way, so this one I may put the other way around just for something different. Okay, so there's 2, 4, 6, 7. So we'll do one more. Let's see, which color do I want to use? Let's do this really bright one just because. Yeah, it's like a random act of kindness. Just leaving a little present so that people can find it, and hopefully it would brighten their day. Bren does great Ustream projects. Oh, good, Bren. That's good to hear. You have to be careful that you don't get too much glue splurting out here, because there is a very, very small area down at the bottom of the little flap where the two things, the side flaps and the bottom flap overlap. There's just a little bit of area there, so you got to really watch that you don't get too much glue, because if you get too much glue, it's going to glue the whole thing shut. Not that that's going to be a real problem, because what I'm going to put in them doesn't take up much room anyway. Okay. Oh, we got to put the decoration on the front. I don't know. I'm going to have to use this one because I like it. I think it looks good with this. You know, Bren, well, I don't know why I can't remember that. Time Warp Art. Time Warp Art is Bren's Ustream channel, and she typically streams on Fridays in the morning. That's usually her time. Sometimes she does it other times too. Okay, so there we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have 8 little envelopes. So I'll save these other ones for another time. Okay? Now, as I started to say earlier, if I had, oh come on, stick shut. If I had a heart or a wing die, I would use the wing die, but I do not have that. So we're going to have to do a workaround. We're going to have to do the poor man's version of using a die. That means scissors, people. That means scissors. So here's my workaround. I had this great stencil. It has 3 shapes of wings. There's this one, there's this one, and there's this one. Okay, so there's 3 shapes of wings on this stencil. And that's the stencil I'm using. And I used this one right here. And so what I did is I traced them on just paper. So I put this over a sheet of paper and I just traced it. Okay, just traced it on the paper. Then I took it to my copy machine, my printer actually, which has a copy function on it, and I reduced it to 90% just because this seemed a little bit big. And so I reduced it down to 90% of the original size, and then I cut it so that I had 3 or 4 sets that fit, you know, along, that would fit on one 8.5 by 11 sheet. And so I just lined them up on my printer, which has the bed on it for scanning and copying and so forth. I just laid them face down, and mine's just an El Cheapo HP printer, and it allowed me to use cardstock. So I ran white cardstock through and I copied them. So I ended up having 4 sets of wings, okay, like that, on one 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, sheet of cardstock. It's white cardstock. The book is this Adventures in Mixed Media Art. That's the book that I'm using. And so then I just sat down in front of the television, and I did this all this morning because I was busy enough that I didn't have time to do this earlier, and so I did it this morning. It didn't take very long to do this. You're welcome. And so I just used a pair of scissors and I just cut out the wings. Okay, so I cut out 8 sets of wings in, I don't know, maybe an hour and 15 minutes or something. But of course, in the time it took me to cut one wing, if I'd had a die, I could have cut them all, but I didn't have that. And also, by doing it the way that I did it, it gave me a chance to resize them and stuff, you know, if I wanted to. So anyway, so I have my wings cut out. And so this is the poor man's way of working, of not having a die. You do a workaround. And I only say poor man's because I don't have one. Okay, so now let's go back and take a look at what she did with the wings, just because I thought it was kind of a cool idea. And I haven't tried it, so I don't know if it's going to work. I mean, just because it's written in a book doesn't mean it's going to work. Believe me, I know this. Okay, so what she did with the wings, we'll just take a little read here. She used black pastel, okay? And she wrote messages onto each of the wings. Then she mixed together white, yellow and white acrylic paint to achieve a pale yellow, which I have over here on my giant paint cart. I have several off-white colors, so we will not be mixing. We will just be using one. And applied a thin coat of paint over the top of each wing. Allow it to dry thoroughly. Add the feathers and accent lines to the wings using a thin paintbrush and black acrylic paint. And then when it was dry, she added white and yellow acrylic paint accents. Okay? And then she went on to treat the envelope, which we're not going to do that. We're only going to play with the wing treatment. So, as I said, I don't know if this is going to work, but hey, let's try it. So I have pastel pencils here. And this one should be black. Yep, it's black. Now, I don't know how this is going to work. So we're going to find out. And somewhere here I have pencil sharpener. I've been reorganizing, so that's always problematic, you know. It means that things disappear. So I'm going to sharpen this a little bit. Is Xandra still here? I think she is. Yeah, I see her. Xandra, I so seldom get to your streams in person, but I really enjoyed your talking about your class with Julie Fafen-Balzer and some of the different things you were talking about on Sunday. That was a lot of fun. So I just wanted to tell you that on public stream. Okay, so this is black, and so what we're going to do is write some words on here. So let's see. Okay, so I've written on here, stay true to yourself. Okay? All right, so I'm going to get some paint. I'm going to use a buttermilk paint, and I need some water, so excuse me while I go do that. Hi, Julie. Good to see you, my friend. Okay, I got some water. I have some palette paper because I like to put my paint on palette paper. All right, let's see how this works. See if I can get everything where you guys can see it. Let's see what I'm doing. Okay, I'm going to dampen my brush first. And I think I'm going to do kind of a thin coat of acrylic paint. Thin it down. All right, here goes. Let's see. It does run, smear, not run. It smears the pastel, but that's what she's after. All right. So it kind of puts that pastel in the background. So let's see if we can get it in one swipe. Rather than going over it a whole bunch of times. All right, not bad, not bad. So that's going to set the pastel. It also kind of smears it, kind of puts it in the background, makes it a layer. All right, so that's not bad. I think we can work with that. So let's do a couple more. Maybe we'll do 4 sets at a time. That way they'll have time to dry a little bit. What else shall we say? Be grateful every day. Okay. I'm looking at my quote things that I'm going to do here. Choose happy. That's a good one, friend. I mean, Rain. You are loved. Okay, so I'm going to call that good for those. So let's go back and put a wash of, it's not a wash, it's like just thinned a little bit. I'm going to see if I can get it. Oh, that was better. That didn't smear as much. I thinned the paint a little bit more. Okay, that worked better. So I didn't have the paint as thick as I did the first time, so I thinned it a little bit more. Now I'm just working on cardstock. So, you know, this is not watercolor paper or anything like that. So you might, you know, you might even try it on watercolor paper. Not bad. Okay, let's go some more. I truthfully was amazed that she was going over pastel. I'm like, okay, well, we'll try it. It's working pretty well, people. It's working pretty well. But my husband still has that little card from that little high school girl in his truck. And it's been there for probably over a year. And I thought, when I saw this idea, I thought, you know what? This is a good idea. Because it incorporates my favorite things, which are words and art and my own papers. Gives me a way to use up the jelly plate prints that I have and some of the paste paper prints that I have. It's great. Welcome back, Julie. I'm glad to see you. I'm glad everybody's here. Thank you so much for coming and spending your Friday afternoon with me. Your drama-free Friday afternoon with me in my studio. And I'd like you to know that everything's working, and we've been on for, how long have we been on? Let me see. An hour, over an hour, and we've been doing great. I'm so happy. Okay, so let's wipe this up. That's also a good one, Brain. Okay, this is pretty much dry. So I'm going to write the same thing on both sides of the wings. And they're not supposed to be all that legible, you know, by the time you're done, because we're going to be going over and detailing with black. So, you know, we're going to see what happens. Like I said, I haven't pre-done this. I just thought it'd be fun to see what happens. if I'm not in love with one of these, it's, you know, it's cardstock and paint and stuff. Smile at yourself. That's a good one too. What did I have on this one? Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to coat them on this side. I'm going to try to keep the pairs together so they have some sort of, so they make some kind of sense. I am stunned that that pastel doesn't smear more than that. Now the first one did because I used paint that was a little too thick, I think. It falls in the category of go figure. Who knew that would work? I guess the author of that article in the book did. Oh, Joyce, it's so good to see you in the chat today. Haven't seen you for a few days. But then the funny part was, you know, when I was having all the internet problem, I could watch things, but you know, and I could interact with people on Ustream. I could do that. But I sure couldn't do much else. It's interesting how the paint makes them curl, and so you get some interesting shaping without having to do anything. I wasn't on last Friday because I was having, I thought I was going to be on. It was the plan, but the internet was all whacked out. My signal was whacked out. So I did an impromptu stream on Tuesday, which I'll get the recording up on my blog and on Ustream shortly. I just haven't had the time this week to get it done because I haven't had the problems resolved very, you know, it's been a short week, shall we say. Hey, Vicky. Okay, well, painty hands, it's just painty hands. That's what it is. It's going to be the way it is. Alrighty, now I'm thinking, I don't know. I was thinking about using my fine liner with black paint in it, but I don't know. I don't know. Maybe we'll just use black paint. All right, let me see if I can find my black paint in my well-organized paint cart now. Kind of like the soft black. We might use it. Let's see what soft black looks like on this. I like this soft black color because it is exactly what it says. It's kind of a warm black. Okay, let's go back to, which one did I start with? I guess I started with that. It doesn't matter. doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Okay, I'm going to go to a small round brush and get it wet. I'm going to just take a look at what she did in her because why reinvent the wheel? That's what I say. Okay, I'm going to kind of mimic what she did, which was, or maybe what I'm going to do is mimic my stencil. That's probably even a better idea. Kind of mimic the stencil. Okay. Oops, sorry. Got it down a little bit further than you could see. So I'm just kind of dry brushing some little feathery looking kind of things so that the text then becomes obscured behind it. Hey, Dar. Nice to see you. Okay, so there we got one. Now the challenge for me will be, just saying, doing the other one. Because I'm going to have to do it upside down. Because that's the way it works in my world. Watch, it'll probably be better than the one I do right side up. Not bad. Here, I should probably get out of the picture so you can see what I'm doing. It looks reasonably like what she did. Reasonably. And then I'm going to use my finger. Kind of give it a little character along the top line. All right, that's not bad. It's okay. It's not bad. All right, let's do the rest of them, because then of course I have to do the opposite side. Tried to get him another wing. What I used was this, I used this stencil. Used the stencil right here, down here. And I reduced it by 90%, or to 90%, and just made copies. And I made copies and then I cut them out. That's how I did it, yeah. If you had a die, of course, that would be the way to do it, but I didn't have a die. And because I only decided to do this like last night, after the stores were closed, there was no place for me to go to try and find a die, which is probably impossible to find around here anyway because we have limited suppliers. So just a few little strokes. Yeah, it was. It was kind of fun to do the fussy cutting. It really was. I'm doing them both upside down. See? Look at me go. Look at me being upside down. And the fussy cutting on this it really wasn't hard. But it would be considerably faster if you had a die. But, you know, sometimes it's kind of nice to do, you know, the look of the hand so that not everything is... Believe me, I'm not against using a die. I'd have used a die if I'd had it in a heartbeat. But I didn't have one. Okay, so the words are somewhat obscured, which is what I'm after. I don't want them to be front and center. Not very often that I do things that I haven't tested out ahead of time, but I thought we'll just go for it and see what happens. Alright, let's do these other two, then we'll do the other sides, then we'll put them together and see what happens, see what we think. Okay, now I'm just naturally finding it easier to turn them upside down. So that's what I'm going for. And my brush doesn't, it has some water in it, but the paint itself is pretty, doesn't have really any water in it. And it's just craft paint. And I'm using a light touch just to put some paint. Feathery kinds of strokes. Yeah. So Jean, you weren't here in time to hear my story, so yeah. You missed the whole storytelling thing, Jean. About how the post office ate half of my check that I sent to one of our suppliers. Only half. So the supplier ended up with half the check, and I ended up with half the check. Because I got my half back, and they got the half, which of course wasn't cashable. She called me today, the bookkeeper person, and she says, I got a check from you today. Kind of. Kind of. I love that. She kind of got a check. It was pretty funny. I mean, that postal machine ate that check, the envelope. It ate it, digested it, and spit it back out. Now I think you could do this very same thing using manila colored or vanilla. They're the same color in my mind. Cardstock, and you wouldn't have to paint it. Although if you're going to use a chalk pastel kind of pencil, you're going to have something over it to seal it. So anyway, I digress. Okay, so this is our last one. Then we'll do the other sides. Hi, Trina. Well, it was funny, Trina. Let me tell you something. That machine had a meal and a half off of that check and envelope. I was just thrilled that they sent part of it back to me so that I knew I needed to issue another check, you know? But that was so funny when the gal from the business called today and she says, I got a check from you. Sort of. Sort of. I was like, yeah, I got the other part of it. So we had a big laugh about it. Because when you only get sort of, kind of, some of a check, it's hard to cash it. The banks frown on that. Yeah, that's exactly what she said. Sort of. I mean, as soon as I answered and she said that, I thought, yep, we're going to have a fun time with this conversation. Okay, so we're going to turn this over, and we'll just do the same thing on the other side. Don't want the brush to be too wet. If it's too wet, it takes too long to dry, so. I'm telling you, anybody can do this. Anybody. This color, although it's called Soft Black, is almost like a raw umber color. So if you prefer to use black, of course you could do that. It's a pretty color. It is Americana's Soft Black. And the other color that I used on it was Buttermilk, Americana Buttermilk. My two favorite craft acrylic paints are Americana and Delta Ceramcoat. Those are the two that I use the most. And by the way, I will be starting some impromptu streams here before too long, I think. Don't hold me to it. Painting Santa Clauses, because we have... That was something else I showed on Tuesday on the kind of makeup stream since I didn't get to stream last Friday. I showed the Santa Clauses that my husband and I did last year. He's a wood carver, and so he does the carving. We do a line of Santas pretty much every year. And so he does the carving, and then I do the painting. And so I typically will do impromptu streams while I'm painting. So I'm waiting for him to finish the one he's currently working on. And then I'll have 3 that I can paint, because it's so much easier for me to work on 3 of them at once. It's easier for me to do 3 at once than it is to do 1. So anyway, just watch Twitter. If you're not on Twitter, I highly recommend Twitter for keeping up with who's streaming when, because most people will... Now, I say that, and then I didn't tweet today, so I'm violating my own rule. Usually I tweet that I'm going on. Tuesday I didn't tweet either, so never mind. Don't pay any attention to what I just said. Ignore the girl in the box. She clearly doesn't know what she's talking about. She's just rattling on. That's what happens when you're trying to do something and talk at the same time. It doesn't always work out. Doesn't always work out so well. I know. I know. Anyway, under normal circumstances, if I've got my act together, I do tweet and say, this is what I'm doing. And once you get going on this, I'm discovering that, you know, most of the text that we wrote in the pastel is obscured, so it really doesn't make any difference that you use the same pair of wings, really. But I probably will have to do that just because of my own self. So this week I have been doing a lot of walking with my dogs. I won't say a lot more than I had been, let's put it that way. I took the dogs in for their vet appointment, and Muppet had gained 9 pounds in a year because I haven't been exercising her as much. And I'm like, yeah, well, we'll be doing something about that now, won't we, Miss Lard Butt? Muppet is our black mixed breed dog, in case you don't know who I'm talking about. She matches, she doesn't even appear to be that fat. I knew it was getting hard to get her backpack snapped on her, and I'm thinking, she really put on that much weight? Yeah, she had 9 pounds in a year. That's a lot of weight for a dog. Shame on me for not getting her out and exercising her more. So it'll be good for me as well. So we've walked a whole lot more. Yeah, too much. 9 pounds is too much. Too much. Okay, we have one more set of wings to do here on this side. Oh, been down that road, Vicky. Been down that road too many times. Too many times. And every time I go down that road, I think I'm not going to get another cat, dog, whatever, you know. Not going to do it. That lasts about a very short period of time. And then something finds us that needs a home, and yep, and there you go. I know, I say it every time. One of my good friends has Siamese cats, and when I got Chance and Charlie, I was constantly calling her up going, you will not believe what these cats did, you know, because they were just so unlike the kind of cats I've always had, you know, which are just kind of farm cat, alley cat kind of cats. And of course, that's the only kind of cat she's ever really had for years, is Siamese. And she's going, yeah, and that's what they do. Like, you're kidding me. I didn't know cats did stuff like this, you know. I mean, for example, Chance plays fetch. Well, I've never had a cat. I don't even have a dog that likes to play fetch, let alone a cat. A cat that plays fetch? You're kidding. Hi, Di. Okay, so wings. We have 4 sets of wings. Let's see what we can do with them. Okay, so we have some envelopes. The first set of wings should be dry by now. So we have some envelopes. So let's pick out which one we want to use. And we're going to put this set of wings kind of like that. Kind of like that. Or do I want them so that they look like, so they curl the other way? Isn't going to matter. Never mind, it's not going to matter. And I'm going to use Tacky Glue to do this. Sophia, all cats are mad. Just some are madder than others. Okay, so let's put these wings on this little envelope. These are called winged messengers. Winged messengers. Okay. Kind of cute, huh? So Sherry says her cat plays fetch and she's a tortoiseshell. Well, I had a tortoiseshell and she never played fetch. The only cat I've ever had that plays fetch is this silly Chance. Yep. Only one. Let's do this one. Okay. But he's funny. I mean, some of you guys have been here when I was painting Santa Clauses. I think it was last year. And I would have to throw... He'd bring me a mouse. These fabric mice. And I'd have to throw it to get him to leave me alone. So then he'd go charging after it. He'd bring it back and toss it, you know, spit it out at my feet. Very emphatically. Spits it out at my feet. And then in his sweetest of sweet Siamese voices goes, meow. He's waiting for me to throw it again. All right, so we're going to put our winged messengers up here. We'll make a little flock of winged messengers up here. So Bren's already got some done. Is that what I'm reading? Bren already got some of these all done. How many did you get done, Bren? Yeah, cheating using dies. That's what she's doing. I know how she is. She's got all these dies. Like I said, if I'd had the dies, I'd have been doing it too. But then our stream would have been real short, right, people? Would have been real short. You gotta admit, they're kind of funky cute. They're kind of funky cute. In their own funky kind of way. The envelope is a die. That's the envelope die that I used. It's a Sizzix die. And then I didn't have a wing die, and so I'm using a stencil, and that's the link I put in. Oh, good, Dar. So this is the stencil I used right here. And I reduced them to 90% of the original and traced them out, and then copied them on white cardstock, and I hand cut them. I don't have an electronic cutter, so I hand cut them. But if I'd had a die, I would have used the die. Indeed. Okay, so then what I have done, we'll move the paint here. What I have done is I have written some quotes that I thought were interesting. And then I sprayed them with different kinds of sprays. Okay, so we're going to cut those out. If you have any questions, be sure to put them in caps so I can read them. Okay, so I did these just on white text paper. So I'm going to just pick out 4 of them here. I've copied each one twice because I actually have 12 sets of wings, but I don't have them all cut out. So I found 6 little sayings that I liked. Sometimes I made them up, and then I wrote each one twice, typed them on a piece of paper, and then I just sprayed them with different kinds of sprays and put a little sparkly stuff on them. So I did think a little bit ahead on this, but you know, you don't want me to think too far ahead, because then you don't get to see me making it up as I go along. Okay, then I'm just going to use a pair of scissors and trim down what needs to be trimmed down. And if you want to get a lot fancier than I am getting, and ink around the edges and all that kind of stuff, you certainly can do that. I'm not going to do that. Nope, no I'm not. So I'm just trimming up the excess stuff off the ends. Okay, so I just have these little strips. So this one says stay true to yourself. This one says start each day with a grateful heart. You'd think I could cut straighter than that. Goodness. I'm going to blame it on the scissors. Do something today that your future self will thank you for. Don't be pushed by your problems. Be led by your dreams. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're just going to take one. This one I don't even have to fold up, so I'm just going to stick it right in there like that. I'm going to take a little dab will do ya glue. Of course, my glue needs to be in one of those fine line bottles, don't you know? Like so. I'm going to put a little tiny dab of glue, and I'm going to hold it till it stays shut. so that when the person finds this, it's rather obvious that this could be opened. Now, if they're not smart enough to rip the envelope open, I can't do anything about it. There's nothing I can do about it. And if you want to shape these, of course, that was not a very nice thing I just said, but you know what I mean. So shape the wings just a little bit if you want to give them a little character. So for this one, don't be pushed by your problems, be led by your dreams. Okay, so I'm going to just fold it. It will fit in there. Will it fit in there? Or do I have to fold it again? I have to fold it twice. Just a teeny little dab of glue. Teeny tiny dab. Now, of course, you don't want to pick a rainy day to put these on people's cars or wherever you want to leave them, because then they'll just completely ruin. This one is start each day with a grateful heart. Now, I don't know about you, but I would love to stumble onto one of these made by someone. I think that would be really fun. Lynn's dad used to say, if I'd known I'd live this long, I'd taken better care of myself. Who was it? There was some famous baseball player said that. Was it Yogi Berra? See, but you can give him some shape, some character. Okay. And then this one is do something that your future self will thank you for. Do something today that your future self will thank you for. Put it in, a little dab of glue. And you have a little fun thing that you've done. You've used up some of your papers. Could be excess scrapbook paper, could be prints that you've made, could be jelly prints that, or paste paper prints that you don't care for. But when you cut them up and fold them into these little envelopes, you know, I mean, this one looks like it has a totally different, you know, like that took all kinds of time to make. It didn't. It didn't take any time at all. And then you just put them in your car, or take yourself on a walk and leave them around your neighborhood, or whatever you want to do, you know. So I'll make a few more of them, and then we'll call it good for today. How's that? So any of you that want to hang out, you're welcome to stay. I'm going to keep doing the same thing. If you don't want to hang out, you've seen what I'm going to do. So we're back to putting some quotes on these, some little words on them. So you are great. Video's frozen. Anybody else having video issues? Okay. Thanks, Sophia. All right, let's do some more. Make it a great day. Now remember, this is all going to get, as you can clearly see, or not so clearly, it gets covered up, but that's okay. Carpe diem. go forth and laugh. And this is a pastel pencil. Okay, that's what I'm using. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. You are great. Okay, you are great. Okay, thanks for letting me know that it's okay. I turned it over, I can't remember what I said. Make it a great day. Carpe diem. Bye, Zandra. Go forth and laugh. Okay, so we got that. So now we're back to the part of using paint. So this time, instead of using buttermilk paint, I'm going to use white, just for something different. Or I have this one I haven't used. It's called Whitewash. It's an Americana color. Let's use it. I want to see what it is, because I haven't ever used it. I bought it, but I haven't used it. Whitewash. Alright, now my brush is probably going to be a little Crudsville. Going to be a little Crudsville here, but it shouldn't be too bad because it was just using buttermilk, which is a light off-white light color. So I don't know what the difference is between whitewash and white, so we're going to find out. I'm fascinated with the fact that that pastel doesn't smear nearly as much as I thought it would. So unless I did some definitive testing, which clearly I'm not going to do, I really don't know the difference between white and whitewash. I don't know if it's a thinner. Anybody that knows the difference between Americana whitewash and white, let me know, because I'm not sure. But I thought it might be fun to do some that were white and, you know, some that were the buttermilk color. Just found the link for the Kitty in the Box stickers. Oh, good, Rain. I think it was Galena that was looking for that. Was it? It could be more translucent. You would think it would be, wouldn't you, Jean? Wouldn't you think? Of course, you know, when you're doing white on white, it's impossible to tell. So I don't know. But anyway, okay. Jean's guessing again here. I thought Jean, now I know there's this mad rumor going around that you know everything. I'm teasing. I'm teasing. So teasing you, Jean. Now these are just little cardstock. Oh, sorry. I'm just drying them. I'm not paying attention to what you're seeing. Sorry. These are just little cardstock things, so they're very lightweight. And they do want to fly around. But I thought I'll just give them a little spritz of heat, just to make sure they are dry. Okay. So, coat of white on the opposite side of each one. Let them dry. This isn't even the heavy cardstock. This is the 65-pound stuff from the craft store, not the stuff from the office supply store that's 110. Hi, Sandy. Just got in from shopping. What you been buying? I hope it was something fun. Dar says she wings do like to fly. You know, it's so true. Wait. See, it would be helpful if I had it in the correct side around. It's so true. And that's what they were doing. Flying away. All right, so those are all dried. Oh, dried. Good grief. I can't even talk straight today. Painted. Gracious. Clearly, my brain and my mouth are in two different, are having two different days. So as my hands get progressively paintier, they look more and more attractive, don't you know? They look more and more attractive. Oh, pretty. Fall mums. Dar planted yellow and red fall mums. How nice. I haven't planted flowers in so long. Jan from Canada even sent me seeds to plant flowering fava beans. I didn't even get that done this year. Yeah, I'm probably going to be in big trouble when she finds that out. Don't tell her, okay? Don't tell her. All right, let's do a different color. This is Ceram Coat Navy Blue. So I'm going to put navy blue. So we're going to make these birds, these wings, even crazier. But why not? It's my bird wings. It's my wings. I can do what I want, right? That is right. Rain says painty hands are happy hands. Unless the coating of paint gets too thick, and then they're not happy at all. Okay, let's go back to these. Turn them over. Give them a little wingage. I just thought it would be fun to do a different color. Well, that and the fact I can't stand to do the same thing too long. That is the truth about that. I would never do well in production work, I will tell you that. If I had to work on a production line, they might as well shoot me. I truly don't think I could do that kind of work. Thank you, Dar. I knew you had my back. Okay, so there are these wings done with whitewash and navy blue, Ceram Coat navy blue. I'm getting faster as I go. I'm getting faster. Truthfully, what I like better than anything in the entire world is I love to figure things out. And I'll do something as many times as it takes to figure it out, whatever that might be. And then I'm done. I'm ready to move on. I've not completely lost my marbles, but there's definitely a hole in the bag. There you go. That's funny. That's funny. One of my favorite scenes, movie scenes, is in the movie Hook, when Peter Pan comes back and gives the old guy who was one of the lost boys, he's always looking for his marbles that he lost, couldn't find his marbles, and Peter Pan comes back. The character was played by Robin Williams, and he comes back from Neverland, and he gives, I've forgotten the guy's name now, gives him his bag that has his marbles in it. That's one of my favorite scenes ever. Like, man, I wish somebody'd do that for me. I wish they'd go to Neverland and bring me back my marbles. Yeah, another one. We're getting quotes in the chat. Another one is, I still got it. I just can't remember where I put it. That's funny. That's a funny one. All right, go over there. Behave. Behave yourself. So you guys like these little winged messengers? I think it's a good idea. Sometimes I get too much into my own head, too much into my own space, too much stuff going on, too much pressure, too much whatever, and I forget to give back. Sometimes you gotta do it. You gotta just stop, take some time, and give back. And the people you're giving to don't have to know that you're giving to them. You can just do it. It's a way for you to be creative, which is one of the reasons that we named the website How to Get Creative, because that is my goal in life, is to encourage people to be creative, and to be creative in ways that maybe they haven't thought about being creative. And people who create, I think, are happier, more fulfilled people than those who don't create. They certainly have ways to deal with stress that are positive if you choose to use your creativity as a stress buster. All right, so we got that much done. We need to do the other side by Sophia. Of all the things I ever lost, I miss my mind the most. That's right. It does, CB, it does. All right, let's turn these over and let's do the other sides. So I'll finish these up, these 8, and then we'll call it a day. I think I can have them finished in a few more minutes. It's been a fun little project. I was going to do an art journal page today, but I found this and I thought, you know, I think I'm in the mood to do this. And I haven't been art journaling very much, and sometimes you got to get back into that, kind of catch your rhythm again, you know, remember kind of what you like to do and stuff. At least that's how it works for me. I don't know about you guys. So it's a little dangerous to just turn on the camera and start art journaling for me. Because it's like, Paula talks about hot messes. Paula is journal artista, in case anybody doesn't know. Yeah, that could be an understatement if I don't kind of get my sea legs under me again. I want to get back to doing my positive word journal. Haven't done that in ages, and I need to get back on that. Because that was one of the best art journals I've ever worked in. The wings are going on winged messengers. They're going on winged messengers. So these little tiny envelopes, 1 inch, 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 1 in are going to get a set of wings, these little tiny envelopes. Are going to get a set of wings with a little message inside, and then we're going to go, I'm going to take them and abandon them different places. The neighborhood, on people's cars, in the mall, wherever. Just a little positive message to make somebody's day better. I probably should go do it at the mall because I still have some harsh feelings once in a while from the guy that robbed me at the mall. That still really makes me mad. So I probably should go do it there. Keep working on that. I still go to the mall, but there are times when that really makes me mad. Like, I work real hard for this money, and what makes you think that you are entitled to just take it, you know? But I'm not bitter. The universe is a funny place. Maybe we'll work in the positive word journal next week. We'll see. I don't know what the week brings. How long ago was that? Oh, probably 4 or 5 years ago. But I don't carry a grudge or anything. I'm cracking myself up. Periodically, I do have to do some emotional work around that particular situation, though. It's right, Dar. That's right. Well, the funny thing was the police officer, you know, came to the mall, and I had to get in the squad car with him, which of course I was a little goosey about doing anything with anybody right about then. And because they found somebody not too far away from the mall, and that met the description, and he said, so we're gonna go, I'm gonna have you look at him. I'm like, you're taking me to this guy? You're gonna have me look at this guy? You're gotta be joking. And he said, but don't ID him if you're not 100% sure. And I said, well, you might as well save yourself a trip, because I couldn't tell you for sure. I couldn't ID the guy for sure. Yeah. Anyway, that's a whole other, that's a lifetime ago, people. That all started because I thought I should probably take these to the mall, and, you know, anyway. This is blue. This is dark blue. That's right, Meg. You are so correct. You are correct. All right, so we'll give these a little shot of heat and see if we can get them dried up. If you really look, you can still see them. Yeah. Not real well. You can tell there's some, it's more like if you're the person that didn't make them, just was looking at them, It's more like you'd look at it and go, there's something back there. I don't know what it is. You know, it's kind of like that. But you're not really seeing it. If you wanted the words to be more visible, then don't put as much paint on. So this color combination was Whitewash. I started with the black pastel to write the words. Then I went over it with Whitewash, the color Whitewash from Americana. And then the color that was on top for the feathers I used was Navy Blue by Ceramcoat. So that's what I used on these 4. Can you write on the other side of the wings? I did. I did the same thing on both sides. But you could do anything. I mean, you could literally do, I mean, the sky is the limit. There's no right or wrong to any of this. It's like if you want the words to show more, then, you know, just don't do as much stuff as I did on them. That is the great part about any kind of creative thing, creative activity. You can just do whatever it is that makes your heart sing. And if you wanted to come back over the top of them with a marker or something, you know, you could do that, and you could write the words right back on top of the feathers. That would be fine too, you know. And you could come back, you could lay them all out, and you could splatter them with some thin white paint. I mean, I think that would be cool too. Splat some paint on top of them. Okay, so let's finish these little, I have 4 more little envelopes, so let's finish these up. Put the little sayings in them. We're going to call it a day. All right, so we'll take these 2. Did any of you guys watch Project Runway? I didn't get to see quite the whole thing last night because I was flipping back and forth watching the baseball game. But I got to see the end of the guy that went home early because his dog was going to have to be dealt with, and I felt so sorry for that guy because, oh man, been there, done that. That looks cool. I like the blue. I have to say I like the blue. I like the blue. Anyway, my heart just went out to that guy. I just felt sorry for him. CB, you watch it? I really like Project Runway. I didn't watch it for the first few seasons. I'm like, why didn't I start watching this when it first came on? Because I really enjoy the creativity and the challenges that those designers are given. Holy cow. I'm telling you. I admire what those people are capable of doing. I do. It was sad. I just couldn't get him off my mind. And I know that that's a taped show. You know, that situation is long over. But, you know, I just couldn't help but thinking about him last night. But I'm an animal person, and you know, that's just the way I am. Okay, so let's put this one on. So I'm just using some tacky glue, gluing the wings. The winged messengers, we're putting them on the little envelopes. The envelopes are die cut. Anybody that came in after I got started, the envelopes are die cut. The wings I hand cut using a stencil as my pattern. So I just fussy cut them. Okay, so those are put together, and now I'm gonna let those sit for just a minute and cut my sentiment bits out, which I sprayed with different kinds of sprays. And I printed them on a laser printer. So I have 1, 2, and I'll read them to you here in a minute if you can't read them. I need 2 more. So let's do, I like these 2. So I like them all. If I hadn't liked them all, I wouldn't have done them. I know. Here, let's just take off some of the excess paper first. So I'm just trimming these down a little bit. All right, so we have those ready to go, ready to rock. Throw out the trashes. When my son was little, when he was learning to talk, he loved the trash. And he would say, he loved to throw anything away, and he'd put it in the tash. And he always had the funniest little way of saying it, put it in the tash. Like it was a super secret mission. He'd put it in the tash. He loves me saying stuff like that now, by the way. Loves it. Thinks it's adorable. Not. Okay, start each day with a grateful heart. So we're going to put that one in here. I'm going to put a little dabble do you glue on the tab of the envelope. Seems like I've seen episodes of Project Runway on their website, but maybe I'm crazy. Oh, he was adorable, Lynn. Do something today that your future self will thank you for. We use that in one of the other ones. We're going to put it in this. Put a little dabble do you here. Just so it's easy if somebody, wants to get into the little envelope, they can. So it's not completely sealed, it's just sealed at the very end of the envelope. He does, Jean. He just loves it when I say things like that. He thinks I'm the best mom ever. Positive mind, positive vibes, positive life. Oh, I misspelled. We can't use that one. I put positive live. Can't do that. Never mind. Choose to shine. I'm glad I read that. If I hadn't read that, I'd have put that right in that envelope, and then the person would have gone, oh, it was such a nice thought. If they hadn't screwed it up, it would have been great. Yeah, so now I got to trim another one. We'll just use this one right here. Maybe this will fit in there the way it is. Stay true to yourself. It's kind of like a fortune cookie, except it's it's in English, and I wrote them. Oh, I know, silly me. Bye, Janet. Okay, I do have the effect of putting people to sleep, so that does not bother me. All right, so here are our little winged messengers from today. So we have these 4. Okay, so we have these 4 right there. And then we have these 4. like so. Okay, and there you go. We have 8 winged messengers. I don't have any of that, Trina. Yeah, I don't have any of that. Good idea, though. She says use Aleene's Tack It over and over, but I don't have any of that. Oh, good, Teresa. I just can hardly wait. I can just hardly wait. It is darkening outside, so. All right, so, peoples. Whoops. Sorry. Wrong. Pay no attention to what just went into the chat. Got in the wrong screen. You should write on the envelope, find the deliberate mistake. Yeah, Joyce, that would be good. That would be good too. Find the mistake I made on purpose just to see if you were awake. See if you were paying attention. Anyway, just something fun. Just a fun little way to, you know, do something. Do something that's about somebody besides yourself. And every once in a while, we just need to do that. So anybody got any questions for me before I let the sponsors loose? Hi, Carrie Ann. Oh, good, Mindy. I'm glad you enjoyed it. All right, I'm trying to clear the decks so that the sponsors have room to... Thanks, Sandy. So there's our little winged messengers. They'll be winging their way to make somebody else's day, I hope. Okay. We better let the sponsors out because they have been patient. They've been patient. Just trying to give them some space so that when their big, fat, chunky bodies get up here, they have a place to be, don't you know? Hi, Chance. Come here. Come here. Well, come here. You gonna come up here and see everybody? Huh? Are you coming? You bet. You bet. You're welcome. Come on. You coming? Quit talking about it and get over here. Yeah, quit talking about it and come here. Come here. Oh, come here. Come here, come here. Oh. Come here. Sponsor 1. There's sponsor number 1. Mr. Chance of Rants. Mr. Chance of Rants. I had Christmas ornaments that I made a while back for you guys. I don't know if you remember, they were the round, like a cathedral window type ornament. And I had them over on the other table that backs up to this one. And the other day, what it was one made of silk. And the other day, he just went over there, this cat went over there and took one. He just took it in his mouth and he was just going to carry it off. It was going to be his. It's like rotten. Charlie's on the floor coughing at the moment, so I'm not going to put him up here until he stops. Not till he stops that stuff, huh? Here go your cruddy eyes again. What are we going to do with you? You've got the crud ball eyes. Yeah. Yeah. So are you saying goodbye to everybody? Charlie, are you getting up here? Are you done? You gonna be done? Come here, Charlie. He's busy coughing at the moment. Yeah. He did. He just took that ornament in his mouth and he just walked across the table. He's just going to take it off in the other room and do who knows what to it. Weren't ya? Mm-hmm. Are you coming? You want to come up here? Come here. Come here. Come here. He is like trying to lift a rag doll, let me tell you. Let me see if your eyes are presentable for the world. We gotta get you all camera ready. Yeah. Gotta get you camera ready so the world will see your pretty face. Yeah, because you like to have your pretty face on. Lie down. Lie down. All right. That's us. Scooch back just a hair. There you go. Everybody can see you now. No, you don't need to be the camera hog totally. You don't need to hog everything, even though you think you should. Chance likes to hog. They each like to be in front of the other one, so that's always a problem. Yeah, because they like to be number one, king on the mountain. Yeah. All right, so we're gonna leave, and I gotta go eat some lunch and so forth. So thanks for hanging out with me. I really appreciate everybody coming, and I will see you hopefully next week. Hopefully next week, same time, same place. Seems like we got the problem from last week taken care of, so I will see you. Charlie can almost get his face in there. There we go. So we'll all be back next week, I think. I hope. Aren't they funny? They love the camera, they know the camera, and they think if I'm talking, they should be out here with you guys. Yeah. Charlie, give Chance a little bath. Yeah. That's funny. All right, I will see you guys next time. We'll all see you. So have a great weekend, everybody, and I'll see you then. Bye.